Hello and welcome once again here with us. So the warm-up games have started, and it hasn't been a great warm-up into the World Cup. Three games out of the four probably played so far have been washed out, and a couple of results actually pretty impressive the other day. One between New Zealand and Pakistan played in Hyderabad, and the game against between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Two massive results, but unfortunately, the games today have been washed out without a ball being bowled. Let's discuss more on how the formation is going to be because we are heading into the business end of. We are getting started with the tournament. It's a major tournament. All the teams have arrived here, and it's going to be no less than a thrilling next 45 days. So, to have their point of views, I am joined by Praneeth and Shravnan. As always, Praneeth, it's been a good start so far, but rain has played the spoil sport. Looks like it has come all the way from Sri Lanka back into India now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the unfortunate thing about coastal areas, right? Uh, the
Yes.
only safe areas which you could think of which won't rain is one Indore, where there's a possibility that it won't rain, or Pune. Those are the areas which you could which you could expect that there won't be any rain. But otherwise, Bangalore, Kolkata, then Trivandrum, all those things, every venue there's a high chance of rains. So, and every team has to kind of take that into considerations. And yeah, and somehow warm up games getting washed out is something uh, and we players not getting that right prep is something of a concern
Well,
for the teams.
Well, actually, it's going to be a good thing as far as players are concerned. For example, today it was raining cats and dogs in Guwahati because I was
Mhm.
sitting in front of my TV to watch the game. Basically, I saw the toss, and I think it was 10 or 12 minutes to go, and it started to rain. It picked up slowly, and then when it started pouring down, it was like there was more of a storm basically, and it never
Mhm.
stopped. So under those circumstances, you wouldn't want your players to take the field because so easily it could be an injury to one of your major players, and that could be a very major setback. Before the important stage of the tournament begins. Shravana?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. The teams won't take any chances in this point of time, especially that
Hmm.
too for a warm-up game. They just want to
Yeah.
fine-tune their game time now. That's all. And
Hmm.
yeah, it will not be a much of concern for the teams. Also, they nowadays each and every team is playing bilaterals way too much, and I don't see
Hmm.
there will be any lag in the preparation now.
True. So I was actually watching the Pakistan and New Zealand game. So one of the most important topics that we need to discuss in our video is the build-up of the SENA teams leading into the tournament. We'll be discussing South Africa, England, New Zealand, and Australia at great length in this video. So do stay with us, and we will try and bring up with something pretty considerate, pretty significant for everyone us to ponder upon. Picking up from New Zealand, Praneeth, what I saw was 350s, 340s won't be enough if the SENA countries are chasing, because you can see the efficiency with which they played the game. All right, I agree to the fact that Shaheen didn't play, but so did Bolt or Saudi. They didn't take the field, right? So I
Agreed.
thought Pakistan scored those runs mostly against the part timers of New Zealand. I think it was Daryl Mitchell who bowled. Glenn Phillips. I haven't seen Glenn Phillips bowling regularly in
I mean, the
one day
only
eyes
bowler who
or
troubled was Matt Henry.
yes. Matt Henry bowled, and Loki
Mhm.
Ferguson started in 37th over, and he bowled 4 overs, and he went for like 30 towards 36 something. So these were the
Yeah.
two main stream bowlers who bowled, and alongside was Rachin Ravindra, who's a mainstay in this New Zealand lineup
But
these days. So what I saw was on the flip side of it, it was just Shaheen who didn't bowl, and still Pakistan went on to concede those runs, and it looked like, they're going to just run down with the game maybe in the 38th or 39th over. They never bogged down even for a single second. They were always at it. And the funny part was about the game was that the players, after they got their batting practice, they retired from it. Kane Williamson was the biggest asset. He came on the pitch, obviously, he came out to bat basically, and then scored a brilliant 50. And so did
which is
Chapman and Rachin Ravindra, basically. How do you see this
top
New
leg.
Zealand team? How do you see this New Zealand team building up now, getting into the World Cup?
See, for me, like New Zealand team batting, there are no concerns. Maybe in the opening spot, Will Young could be a problem, right? But again, that's okay if other players are compensating for that. Like you have in the middle order, like in the opening, you have Devon Conway, who has played predominantly on Chennai wickets in IPL. So spin won't be something which he would be bogged down about. And at the same time, if you remember in 2017 when New Zealand toured India, Tom Latham was really playing well in those rank
Yes.
turners. So he would be an asset, and he has a lot of range of shots. He could come down the wicket, and he could play lofted shots. He can play in the crease with those sweeps and reverse sweeps. So New Zealand have all the boxes ticked whenever the batting is concerned. But with the bowling, if Bolt and Saudi they take early wickets, after that they don't have anyone who can have some sort of an impact in the middle overs. And even in uh, the latest series against England, like where Ben Stokes scored 182. At that time, Bolt and Matt Henry took early wickets. Like it was 25 for 3, but England ended up scoring 370, right? Which is something you don't expect. So New Zealand have that weak
Yeah.
links in the bowling area because they don't have much options, so they have to rely on Daryl Mitchell, Jimmy Neesham.
Now that
All
brings
these
a
things.
very interesting point, because remember, the game played was between Pakistan and New Zealand. All right. So when we talk about wickets up front between Trent Bolt and Tim Southee, and they are not being supported in the middle, then Pakistan is going through the same problem, Stravanan. So basically, you're talking about somebody like Mitchell Santner and Rachin Ravindra, who are genuine spinners. If they are not taking wickets in the middle, then that will be a cause of concern. But to give credit where it's due, Santner did pick up wickets against Pakistan. But yeah, obviously it was a one-off game, and that to a warm-up. So how do you see that bowling combination shaping up for New Zealand?
Maybe against England, I don't see any team can spare well, because when Ben Stokes is on song, no one can spare. Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't see much of a concern. But given that Santner has done very well in Indian pitches, he even troubled Indian batters a long time. Whenever he comes to bowl, even in the 2021 World Cup in Dubai, he bowled really well against us. He is the one who is choking all the time. So along with Rachin Ravindra, Ishodi, I think they have Daryl Mitchell with them. Jimmy Neesham, yesterday they were bowling up front. They didn't even try Bolt and Saudi. So I don't see much of a concern here. Given in Indian tracks, Kane Williamson can bowl a bit. Glenn Phillips is, I don't know in which category he is going to play.
No.
He's an all-rounder. He can keep wickets, and he is doing everything
Well, I
for
think,
the
yeah,
side.
that's
And he's a
that's what I was
tremendous
about to
fielder.
say. Actually, that's what I was about to say. Actually, he's a brilliant outfielder, brilliant outfielder. I think I haven't seen somebody as good as him in the last few years. Basically, obviously, I mean, you
Yes,
have Jadeja and the likes,
he is
but
he's a short Jonty Rhodes, I think.
yeah, you're right, actually. Because
He's a
I mean,
short Jonty Rhodes.
I was watching those games. He was a part of Sunrisers Hyderabad, and he was brought in for fielding, in those last overs
Yes.
as
Yeah.
sub. So, and he took some brilliant catches, saved some brilliant boundaries, like down the mid wicket and stuff. So, I have seen Glenn Phillips bowl in Pakistan, so I think he will be given the ball
Yes, he is another
if the
integral
wickets.
part.
Yeah,
I mean, in the spin department, like
yeah.
if you have Mitch Santner and Isodi, I don't think you need any other spinners. It's just the problem with the middle over pacers, right? Like you have 4 bowlers, like you have Matt Henry, Trent Bolt, and Isodi and Mitch Santner. Now you need 10 or like 2 extra bowlers. So that's where these guys lack. They have to either go to Daryl Mitchell, Jimmy Neesham, Glenn Phillips, all these guys. So you can't really rely on
So
them for
do you think they'll play 3 spinners and 2 seamers, or how do you see the combination going?
I'm thinking maybe they could go with 3
Because
spinners. Like
they have
They always have three
because they have
spinners.
3 good
Glenn
spinners.
Phillips is there.
Yeah.
like maybe they could
No,
open with
no.
Rachin Ravindra instead of Will Young.
Yes. Rachin Ravindra, Ish Sodhi,
And Trent Bolt
Mitch
can-
Santner. And Miss Santner.
Mhm.
So you have 30 overs covered here, right? And you have Trent Bolt and Tim Southee, 50 overs, right? So you have
Right.
the likes of Glenn Phillips, Daryl Mitchell, okay, if needed, Kane Williamson. So 3 extra in the department in your kitty, whom you can go to just in case if the situation arises, but may not be needed, right? So 3 plus 2, will that the combination? Plus, obviously, they have Jimmy Neesham, right, who could be their 6th
Right.
bowler. 6 bowlers who can really bowl, and you have 3 other options in Glenn Phillips, not a bad option at all. Then Daryl Mitchell, and then Kane Williamson himself. So you have your bases covered. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the bases are covered, and at the same time, New Zealand doesn't have a concern of chasing totals. They can really give a tough time even if they get a target of 360. Right? So the only concern is in the batting department. In the bowling
In the middle overs.
department, in the middle overs. That's it. Otherwise, they have everything covered.
I do see some sort of concern in Finn Allen because either he's getting a big score or is just getting
Finn
out
Allen
pretty
is not in the
easily.
squad, right?
He's not in the squad anymore. He wasn't a
not in
part
the
of the
squad.
World Cup squad to begin with. Actually, for him, it was always the 2 extremes. Like he was either a hit
He's
or a
like
miss.
Bauma of New Zealand.
Yeah, you can say that. But I think Bavuma is much better, to be very honest. Because
He has a better technique.
there is no, he has even those hits and misses. Bavuma has a better conversion when you compare it with Finn Allen. Finn Allen can sometimes take a bit of time, hit those 2-3 boundaries, and then get out, because this has happened way too much with Finn Allen. That's what I have observed. But he's not in the squad. So what's going to be the final lineup for you both, just to wind New Zealand off? So it's going to be Devon Convoy, Rachin Ravindra, Kane Williamson, Daryl Mitchell in at 4. 5, you have whom? Not Neesham.
Tom Latham.
No.
Tom Latham.
Tom Latham. Then Mark Chapman. We forgot Chapman, actually.
I would rather pick Tom Latham instead of Chapman.
Okay.
You can play both.
No, because Chapman is a top player, by the way. I mean, if you have seen the Pakistan series, he won a game or 2 for them, single-handedly from losing positions. And yesterday also, the way he finished, I mean, he has some...
He can bat well.
Some stroke in his kitty, basically. So, Latham, Chapman would be in at 7?
6, right?
6.
Latham at 5, 6 at Chapman.
Okay, and then 7, Neesham. 8, 9, 10, 11.
It's
Santner, Sodhi, Trent Bolt, and
Matt Henry.
That's it.
Matt Henry, yeah.
You don't play Saudi then?
It would be a rotation thing. Like one of them would be playing.
So no place for Saudi and Lockie Ferguson.
Yeah, that's what it is, right? I was thinking maybe you could let go of Chapman and maybe you could play an extra bowler.
We didn't even count Glenn Phillips yet.
Yeah, that's also there.
So I mean, who gets the chance?
Very tough situation.
Yeah, so I mean, they have a situation as good as India's situation right now, because everybody looks to be so good. You have Glenn Phillips, who can finish the games. You have Chapman, who has finished the games. You have somebody like Lockie Ferguson, who can bowl consistently at 145 plus. You have Saudi with that experience, all right? But he's coming back from an injury, though. But let's keep that aside for the moment. You have Mark Henry, who can swing and seam both ways up at the top, right? You have spinners who become an integral part of your squad in the subcontinental conditions. So who do you drop? That would be the biggest question.
I mean, it's better to play Lockie Ferguson because uh, you need someone to bowl in the middle overs, right, to keep the things tight.
And he's really good. Now I'm just
Yeah.
worried about the game in Dharamshala because India play New Zealand in Dharamshala.
New Zealand in Dharamshala.
Initially, it would
Yes.
be a swinging conditions. It's like it would
Yes.
be 2019 World Cup Part 2.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Just in case if we get to bat first, then I don't know what's going to happen.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Please.
Yeah. I mean, let me say that now because I don't want to keep it in my heart and we jinx it on the main day. So if I say it now, so nothing is going to happen. So probably Trent Bolt bowling from one end, and then they don't need Saudi in that game. If Saudi plays, then he'll go for runs. I'm pretty sure about it. But Trent Bolt and Ferguson, along with because obviously if they're playing in Dharamshala, they'll definitely go with three seamers: Trent Bolt, Matt Henry, and Lockie Ferguson. So
Lockie Ferguson.
I don't know. I mean, I hope I get proved
Yeah, we can
wrong.
just hope the ball didn't kiss the bat. That's all.
Because the thing is, if we if those are overcast conditions, right, on that day, if we get to bat first, then it's going to be, I don't know how it's gonna turn out for us.
Even if it is not overcast, Dharamshala will get we'll get dark very soon because it is the winter and because of that altitude, I see
the hilly area.
The pitch will be some moisture and they will exploit it. Whoever is batting first, they will feel that they will, that will be like hell for the batsmen.
I think it's going to be a tournament where you would win the toss and probably field first, because in most of the grounds it's going to be dew that is going to come into play.
But
maybe
the thing is, ICC is kind of put up the rules,
strategy.
Right? Like actually, ICC has put up a rules, right, to because of the huge unfair advantage because of the dew, they kind of brought in few rules so that it won't be a huge difference between the teams which are batting first and batting second. Right. Otherwise, it would be like that 2021 T20 World Cup in UAE.
Yeah, that was a horrible time.
Yes.
It's like basically, you win the toss. Why even bother? Just let it go.
Yeah, exactly. Just let it go. True.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, that toss is out of equation straight away. It's just like the decision of the team winning the toss.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be like, so basically now the thing with New Zealand is they look a pretty solid outfit because I mean, okay, we were so engrossed with India, England, and Australia, we never even bothered about looking at New Zealand. And now slowly and surely they are getting into the mix of the things, especially with an outstanding win last night. So that has definitely set cat amongst the pigeons, I would say. So all right, this is one more team that looks a probable number 4 team, that could fit into that top 4 just in case if they get a few games right, because obviously they have games like Bangladesh, Afghanistan,
Netherlands.
I'm no disrespect to them, then Netherlands. They will try and get those three, Sri Lanka, those 3 and 4 out of 4, at least 3 games right in their favor. Then couple of big games, if they can pull those off, then they will be in with a chance.
See, the only threat for New Zealand is, that's the thing. Like their major threats would be against England and South Africa, right? Like they would be scoring like a lot, and at the same time, even if England and South Africa set a target of 370, 380, and I think with England they are playing in Dharamshala, and with South Africa they are playing in Pune. So, and South Africa and England have a better bowling lineup than Pakistan. They won't be giving up that easy. Like they will at least go with that fight because they have a better bowlers and their bowlers are also experienced, both the teams, right? So I think New Zealand will struggle against these two teams.
South Africa or Australia?
South Africa and New Zealand. South Africa and England, sorry.
Oh, okay, all right. What do you think, Shravan?
Yeah, but I don't see top 4 is for New Zealand this time. They might get struggle against teams like, as Pranit mentioned, South Africa is a huge threat, and England, Australia, even with Australia also, because Australia have a very good bowling lineup and they have a very good batting lineup also. So maybe they will struggle against these three teams, and they will definitely lose against India. That's my
You're being
prediction. So
you're
I
being
don't
over
see
optimistic.
either South Africa or maybe.
Okay.
That's
So
how
I
we
think
are
we
Indian fans. What to do?
yeah. So I think we can unanimously agree on one combination that we have. It's going to be like rotational between, let's say, a Matt Henry and a Saudi, and that's how it has been for New Zealand, I think, over the years. Because I haven't seen
Yes.
Matt Henry, featuring regularly in that New Zealand playing 11, and especially in the last 2 years, even Tim Saudi has gone that route because it's been dominated these days by Lockie Ferguson and Trent Bolt. So those are definitely the mainstays as far as fast bowling are concerned. And considering the Indian conditions, you will definitely go on and play with Mitchell Santner, who provides a bit of bat as well, and Ish Sodhi. And then obviously you have a question of going with Rachin Ravindra. So you have top five bowlers, and then you have the advantage of getting the bowling open with batting open with Rachin Ravindra. So, and Jimmy Neesham. So what more do you want? So I think it's going to be a good outfit, and we'll have to wait and see, where they end up. So moving on to our next, South Africa.
Like they
What
are a
do you?
complete beast at this time.
Yes.
Like with the batting lineup they have, and like top six, it's like everyone is firing right now, except
Yeah.
for and with Temba Bavuma, we could give him like the captaincy. He's a better captain, for South Africa. Like he's able to take a good decisions, and he's able to get the best out of
Best out of the
everyone.
players. Yeah.
So the only concern could be like uh, in the absence of Norkia, Ngidi could be a weak link, right? Ngidi and Feklukwayo, again, he's basically a Shardul Thakur, right? You
Yeah,
could
you're right.
kind of compare him with Shardul Thakur. So those are the only two weak links which you could see. Otherwise, they have also all bases covered with Keshav Maharaj and Tabrez Shamsi.
Yeah. Do you think, I mean, it's a sort of a blessing in disguise if somebody like Andre Nokia has missed out? Because just imagine if the conditions are absolutely flat tracks you're playing on, and he could go for runs, Andre Nokia. Because we have seen that. I know, I mean, let's not take it away from him. Like, he can bowl really fast. But on flat conditions, do you think he could have still been a better bowler compared to somebody like Rabada or Ngidi, for that matter?
He could go for runs, but still he will give me a couple of wickets here and there. In the middle overs, he can be a cover up for Rabada and Lungi Ngidi. Lungi Ngidi, I don't see he is a very good middle over bowler. He bowls well in the power play. Also in death, also Lungi Ngidi's returns were not that much good. But Angrik Nokia, he can bowl pretty fast, and he has a very good slower runs also. He can bowl that back of hand deliveries, and he can really trouble the batsman with this slower deliveries also. So
When you look
I
at the
see.
score, yeah.
So I see Norgia's miss will be filled, but somehow South Africa will be compensated with the resources they have at their disposal now. Because Marco Jansen is coming off really well, and with Felukuayo and Tabrez Shamsi and Keshav Maharaj, they can spare well with all these sides.
But when I look at the squad, actually, the first thing that I see in it is the bowling lineup seems to be a little bit thinner, especially the fast bowling department. Because if Ngidi doesn't come good, all right, in these conditions, then the whole burden will be shifted on one man, Rabada,
Marco Jansen,
right?
Marco Jansen and Rabada.
Marco Jansen, yeah, will share that, yeah, of course. So that will be pretty, like, a bit sort of dicey how they handle that situation. I mean, when it comes down to batting, like, make no mistake, it's going to be a run feast wherever they play, because they have some great hitters of the cricketing ball. But I think it's just the fast bowling department that is a bit of a concern. But spinners, they have it, like, in their ranks. with Keshav
Right.
Maharaj and Tabraiz Shamsi. So how do you
We
think the
forgot
playing
Markram.
11 should?
We forgot
Yeah,
Markram.
yeah. Sorry, I forgot Markram. Yeah,
A
Markram.
brilliant spinner nowadays.
Yeah.
He rolls more than an arm these days. So definitely Markram is
Yes.
a pretty handy bowler.
Yeah.
So how do you see the playing 11 panning out for South Africa? Opening with
So I would say
Bavuma and De Kock.
Quinton de Kock.
Kock.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Markram.
then you could
Three.
go with Markram, Rassie van der Dusen, Heinrich Klaassen, David Miller.
Do you think Van der Dusen could be a better option at number 3 than Markram?
No,
Because
Markram should
Markram
play as
has
Markram
really.
should be number 3. Yeah.
Yeah, he will
Okay.
take some time to settle down. But Rassie van
Yeah.
Dusen
No, even Van
can
der
do
Dusen
fun.
takes some time to settle down, honestly.
But
But
he
Van der
can
Dusen is a
score
busy
well.
player,
He can
right?
score.
He rotates strike, whereas Markram, he doesn't have that ability. He
Yes.
sometimes takes a bit of time. But Rassie van der Dusen, even though he's not settled,
So
he's a busy player, so
mhm.
he can rotate
So
strike.
that's the
So I
thing.
would put
Basically,
him
you
at
need to
4.
have somebody. You need to have somebody who could anchor the innings, right? Just in case, imagine 10 for 2, and both openers are
Mhm.
back in the hut,
Right.
right? So you would have to have, or maybe 10 for 1. So you would want to have somebody like a Van der Dusen who would rotate the strike and get Bavuma or a De Kock face more balls in the power play, or do you want somebody like a Markram who would be in there early, consuming balls, and the power play takes a hit, right? That also
I mean,
could
that
should
would be
also
a
be taken
case to
into
case
consideration.
basis, right? I mean, that
Yeah.
should be a case to case
So
basis,
so
right? It
basically,
shouldn't be.
if a wicket falls early, then send in maybe Van der Dusen, and if they have got
Right.
a very good
Yeah.
start, then Markram can come in at number 3 and do his job.
3. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm not too sure how are they gonna fiddle with that batting lineup, anyways. So it's gonna be De Kock, Bavuma, Markram. Let's put it that way for now. Van der Dusen and David Miller, Henrik
Class.
Klaassen. Have I missed out somebody? 6.
No,
6. Yeah, that is
6.
sorted.
Okay. 7 would be Fefluk Vayo. 8 would be Marco Janssen.
Marco Janssen, okay.
All right. Then 9 would be
Shamsi.
Rabada, then Shamsi, and then Keshav Maharaj.
You don't
Yeah.
play Ingidi. You can either
Ingidi.
play Felukoyo or Marco Janssen. Both can't feature in the same.
One of
No.
yeah, you could play one of
No,
them. Yeah.
if you're taking a risk with one, then it has to be Marco Janssen based on the current form.
Yes, Marco
Okay,
Janssen
okay.
should get a god.
Yeah, like instead of Feklukwayo, also he
Yeah.
doesn't have a experience, right, in Indian conditions.
Yeah, I think I've seen Fefluk Vayo playing well only in South Africa, actually, to be
Yeah.
very honest. I mean, I have seen him hit the ball really, really well, by the way. I mean, he hits those massive sixes. But
Mhm.
again, Indian conditions, I think, look, anybody in Indian conditions with a pace of around 125, 120, and 130 in between there and thereabouts will be taken for runs if he doesn't come up with those, swinging and
Yeah,
those swing and seam deliveries, basically.
and also with considering the number of batsmen South Africa has, you don't need a batting depth of Feklukwayo over
Exactly.
there,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You could go with Ngidi. You would rather go with Ngidi over there.
Also, Marco Janssen is not that much bad batter. Considering his
Yeah.
recent form, he has given some good finishing for South Africa. Given his long handles, he can hit those big sixes in Indian pitches easily. And then the spin duo like Keshav Maharaj and Tabraiz Shamsi will have a very good back on the pitches.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, when you're sitting and analyzing the teams now, every team is looking dangerous to me.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, on paper
So,
they need
on
a-
paper,
they
yeah.
need a-
I mean,
On paper, like
If I-
every team is like
I'll
lethal
tell
right
you
now.
what. I'll tell you what. If it was about going by the paper, I think I would have won India all 6 or 7 World Cups that I've watched live
Yes.
live in my life. Like, since 1996 properly that I remember. 96. I used to actually calculate the points. All right, India will surely beat this team, and this team, and will be through. And it will be all about those 2 games. Can't India win those 2 games? Will we live the World Cup? So that used to be my thinking back in those
Yeah,
days.
that was my
And,
strategy in
now we are-
2007 World Cup.
Even in
That's what
2015,
I
I
do
was
in
like
2007 World Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I kept doing it, like, even this time I am not way too much involved with, because I know now, all right, this team is, like, quite capable enough of at least reaching the semifinals. So I'm not thinking too much into it. All I'm focused now is, like, all right, some good cricket. If they play, they'll reach there, and then it's just going to be about those last 2 days. So we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But yeah, so South Africa done, New Zealand done. Now you come to the big boss, Australia. Now there's always a thing or two about Australia, because when they were playing these three
Bilateral.
matches, bilateral, the first two games they look like, they're not in with it with any heart, or, like, with any mind. In the last game, they just gained the momentum when it all mattered, scoring those 350 odd runs, right? So now they seem to be ticking those boxes slowly and surely. The best thing that I saw in that game was their outfielding. They didn't let any ball go past by them. You know, at least I think I've seen, like, good 4 to 5 boundaries saved, uh, singles saved, twos saved, right? So I think 25 runs easily, like, saved on the ground. That was one thing. And obviously, don't take out their catching, out of the equation. So that will be there. Everybody has chipped in, right? Maxwell has, Labuschagne has scored, like, his plundered runs, especially in the last couple of series. Basically, Smith looks to be in good nick, though he got out cheaply in, a couple of times in this series, but he looks to be in fine form. David Warner has come back into the mix again, and they look to be a completely different outfit now. Nothing, taking away from them, because after they won those 2 games and then, lost the series to South Africa, they were, like, getting those big runs. But I think when it comes down to the World Cups, these big teams will have something in them to turn up on big days.
Right.
Yeah, they always speak at the right moment, and when it is needed, the only go-to team is Australia. Who else? Because that's how they got 5 World Cups, which is
Yeah.
clearly a pretty big distinction between all other teams. And Australia is always have them in it. They play bilaterals just before the World Cup very poorly, so that the expectations will be lowered on their side, and then they come bang in the World Cups, and
Not
they just
yeah,
sweep. They just
and
sweep off.
also there are few teams like England, Australia, even they do even though they lose the games, they kind of learn quickly out of it, right? Now let's see Pakistan in Asia Cup. They just lost one match. If you take that one match away, they are like a lethal team. Now they lost one match,
Lost the momentum.
panic lost the momentum, and the panic is set in the dressing room. So that, and those things don't happen with Australia, England. They kind of learn from it and they move on, and they just make sure that those things never happen again. And even in the 21 World Cup, like against Bangladesh, they lost like one-sidedly, but still they won the World Cup in UAE. So Australia has that ability to understand the situations, correct their loose ends there, then and there itself on the go. They don't take much time, so that's why you don't see them after losing. After losing, they are still the favorites.
So what do you think,
that's what
Shravan, should be the opening combination for Australia? Mitch Marsh and Warner to
Yeah,
begin with.
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mitch Marsh and David Warner will be my openers.
I don't know, like, I think they are playing Pakistan in Bangalore, if I remember right, Praneeth.
Yeah, Pakistan in Bangalore.
Man, just in case if it's a flat deck, and if
It
they
is a
win the
flat deck.
toss.
In Bangalore, what you can expect?
Yeah.
It's a flat deck, smaller grounds.
It's a flat
The
deck.
boundaries will be very small, and Mitchell Marsh, I
No.
don't see. I don't think how many balls he's going to get lost. So it's
Well,
just a matter of
yeah, I mean, it's going to be either, like, a hit and a miss for somebody
definitely.
like Mitchell Marsh. If Shaheen gets the ball, like, swinging inside, whatever he does, like, he does his magic and gets the ball in towards the stumps, just like he did to Aaron Finch, for that matter, in
Maybe it is like a double-edged sword only. Either he will go for runs or he will just got a pretty cheaply.
But they're banking on Travis Head as well, right? That he could recover from injury in the middle phase. So there could be that option as
no,
well.
I don't think it's
So,
going to make it now.
Yeah, it's a fingers crossed situation. If Mitchell Marsh is playing really well, say if he got 3 to 4 50s in first 5 games or 6 games, then I don't see Travis Head would be replacing Mitchell Marsh
Situation,
No,
yeah.
because
no,
Australia
I
won't
don't,
do that
because
change.
once you're set, like in the, yeah, they won't do that, because once
They
you
won't do
have,
that.
like you have a player, yeah, who has got the momentum, then I don't think they're gonna go back again to Travis Head and then
Yes.
try to draft him into the squad. They won't do that. They're just gonna be like, all right, Mitch Marsh has played the games, let him continue.
Yeah. So
Right.
also Mitchell Marsh will give you some bowling option. Also, he can bowl a bit at 1 or 2 overs even. That will be gold at the middle phase of the tournament because that will give some breather for their main regulars. So the opening slot is fixed. I think Mitchell Marsh and David Warner will open. Smith
And
and then
number three,
yeah, Steven Smith.
yeah,
Labuschagne.
I
Labuschagne is
still
coming
go
in
with
as
Steven
4, I
Smith.
guess.
I think Labuschagne will be suited of 4.
4, okay.
Yeah.
Then
Then
5.
they have.
After that, you could go with
I think they
Maxwell.
go for Maxwell. Then
Maxwell.
Josh English.
No, Alex Carey. You would take Alex
You
Carey
play
instead
Alex
of Josh
Carey,
Inglis.
but he is not
No, I think
pretty suited for Indian wickets. I feel maybe Josh English has some very
no,
good technical rotating strike.
I think Alex Carey has played some decent knocks in the test matches that he has played in India recently. So I think they will go ahead with Alex Carey. That's my gut feeling. Because also, if you have watched him play against Pakistan in that ODI series, he was seen sweeping the ball really nicely. So I think they will go ahead with he plays spin quite well actually. So I think there is a good opportunity for Australia to go with Carey, and then comes down to bowlers.
Cameron Green will at number 7.
Cameron Green.
Cameron Green
at 7. Yeah.
Cummins
then
at
after
8.
that it would be Cummins at 8. Yeah. Then Mitch Starc.
Mitch Starc.
Zampa
and Hazelwood.
Zampa and Hazelwood. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why, but this squad does not look threatening to me. Maybe because we may have played them way too much. That could be one reason. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the odd thing of maybe losing out to New Zealand quite a few times in World Cups, or never winning against them in World Cups, basically. So
yeah, but I still see Australia very good squad, and they can be easy top 4 for me at least.
No, they will be. I mean,
they will be a top 4. Yeah,
they will be. Yeah, definitely.
They are still lethal. Zampa and even Labuschagne Smith can roll a bit, and they still have way too many all-rounders.
I think, okay, let's put it that way. So Hazelwood and Starc, your fast bowling options. Then comes Zampa, 30 overs done. Then you have Cameron Green. Then who's their fourth bowler?
Yeah, you still have Cummins there. Cummins is a skipper.
Cummins. Cummins. So you've got your 40
overs covered.
40 overs covered easily. Yes.
Yeah,
then
still
you have
Cameron Green, Maxwell.
Cameron Green and Maxwell, they can chip in.
Smith if needed.
Labuschagne is bowling. Labuschagne is a regular feature in Test cricket.
And Mitchell Marsh as well.
And also there could be a chance that if Travis Head doesn't recover well, and these guys can go for that replacement, and they can get Ashton Agar.
No, even Ashton Agar is injured.
Also injured.
Yeah, he's also injured.
Okay. That's why Labuschagne came in.
Okay.
He just got injured like yesterday, I think. Yesterday or the day before.
Okay.
But still, if they have any problem, they can go for Tanvir Sangha, who did reasonably well in the recent past. So
that's an option they have now. That will get activated straight away if they don't want to go with
Travis Head.
Yeah, straight away they can make that call and get.
They can rotate Tanvir Sangha and Zampa with lesser important names.
I think could be an option, but I think
could be
go ahead and
just for the cover.
Maybe.
You know, like when you ask for the weak links, right? The only team which you don't see weak link is Australia and England, right? Otherwise, in New Zealand, you see that weak link in that like the fast bowling seems to be pretty thin, and same thing for South Africa, right? Whereas in England and Australia, you're like, there are no weak links, buddy. I mean,
I don't see any weak links in Australia. I mean,
Maybe if Mitch Marsh and David Warner give didn't give you an explosive start, or they got up pretty early, like 10 for 2, then they might feel
I
the
mean, that
pressure.
happens like once in a while, but it's not
Okay.
like
Yeah,
like
it's
9
not
out of
too
10
often.
times you can
It's-
expect that they will do well.
It
Yes.
can only happen in grounds where you have subcontinent teams playing and the conditions are spin friendly. All right.
Mhm.
Because I have seen, like, even historic Australian sides, even in one day. I remember, I mean, obviously history has nothing to do with the players who are playing now, but I remember a game of Champions Trophy 2002, I guess. They started pretty well, and Aravinda somehow got a ball
Yes,
through,
against
Champions
Sri Lanka.
Trophy. Yeah. So he got the first wicket of Gilchrist, and then it was like, floodgates open. Like they were bowled out
Yes.
for something like 136 or that sort of a
Yeah,
score.
De Silva
So basically, I
finishing
mean,
this
if the
spell
conditions are
10 overs with just 20
Yeah.
odd runs.
20 odd runs and 3 wickets, I remember that game because I remember it was a Friday, and then I came back and then I started watching that match. So I mean, it's been 20 years now, 20, 21 years. So I think Zampa, he could be that wicket taker in the middle, but also you'll have to keep in mind that he will go for runs because those spinners, like the wrist spinners, will be taken for runs on those flat tracks. So I see Australia struggling if the conditions. I mean, Australian batting struggling if the conditions are sprint friendly. So that's where teams like India and Sri Lanka, I don't know if I can say that, but I think India would trouble. I think we play in Chennai, right?
Yes.
In Chennai, yeah.
Yes. So could be. Looks
I
like
put
that's a
Afghanistan
tactical.
in the list along with India. Instead of Sri Lanka, I would go with Afghanistan.
Could be. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah. You're right. Actually, Afghanistan could, like, if they go on and make 250 runs, somebody like Gurbaz from top order,
Gurbaz
or
and
Ibrahim
Nabi
Zadran,
Their captain is
Yeah.
playing
Nabi,
well,
or
but he's not getting some
Yeah.
quick runs, but he can give some stability to them.
Hashmatullah Shahid is good,
Shahidi.
and then Ibrahim Zadran is actually, like, a very decent
Yes.
batsman
Yeah.
with a straight bat, and like, so if somebody, like, gives them that start, and then they build on from there, then I think their spin can definitely. One more thing, Pakistan play Afghanistan in Chennai.
In Chennai.
They are
And
going to
also-
struggle a lot though, yeah.
Yeah. Given the
I'm
recent
actually waiting for
rivalry,
that game more than India-Pakistan game. I don't know why. Yeah. So, what's going to be the final 11? Is that decided now with Mitch Marsh,
Warner, Smith,
Warner.
Labuschagne,
Horner, Smith, Labuschagne, Maxwell, 5,
Carey, Alex
Carey,
Carey,
Cameron Green.
Alex Carey, Cameron Green.
Cummins,
Then
Stark,
you have Cummins, Stark, Zampa, and then Hazelwood. Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
Mhm.
Right. So that's the Australian squad. Now moving on to the champions.
Yeah.
defending champions.
Just
Defending
write
champions.
11
Defending
random
champions.
names.
Defending champions.
Just write 11 random names from the 15, and they can go on and win the game for you.
And
Is it
the
how
worst
that
part
is?
is all 11 people can bat. That's what it is.
Yeah,
They
that's the
all
thing.
can bowl
Even-
also. That is the problem.
Even Adil Rashid has 10 domestic hundreds.
Yeah.
He comes at number 11.
Yeah. So just
Yeah.
imagine that. Now, so how do you see this? Like, I mean, I don't know what to talk about. Who's going to open
Yeah,
in this
honest.
lineup?
Harry Brook and Johnny Bairstow.
Okay.
Because Jason Roy is not there, right? So Harry Brook, Johnny
Yeah,
Bairstow. Then you could go with
Mhm.
Joe Root. Then David
Malan.
Malan.
Malan at 3 and
And,
Root at 4 will be good option.
Yeah, like you could swap. Based on situation, you could go with that. And 5 Ben Stokes.
It doesn't matter. David
Yeah,
Malan
yeah.
is going to be as
does.
lethal as anybody.
Yeah.
Root, I think Root will be given that anchor.
He is a
role
sheet
just to,
anchor
like,
for them.
if
Yeah,
situation
here's the
arises,
thing.
just hold on to one end.
Here's the thing. Joe Root being an anchor, he can score at 95 strike rate.
He is scoring
Exactly.
100
That's the
nowadays.
good-
100
yeah.
strike rate with
Yeah,
100. They are
Yeah.
not going anything less than 100 nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So, Root at 4 for now, and number 5 you have Ben
Stokes
Stokes.
at 5.
Ben Stokes, yeah.
Mm.
And 6 you could go
Butler
with
at 6.
Moeen Ali. Josh Butler, sorry.
Butler.
Butler.
Moeen Ali.
Moeen Ali at 7.
Moeen Ali at 7. We
Markwood
forgot about
at 8.
Livingston though.
Oh, sorry. Shit.
No,
Yeah.
Livingston will not get a game.
No. He will get a game somehow.
He will
I don't
get
know
a
where he's
Somehow
game.
he'll get, but he will not be in the starting 11 at least.
Really? Man, it's gonna be
Maybe Moeen Ali won't be there. Maybe they will
no.
play
I think
Livingston.
No,
considering the
they
Indian
need some.
conditions, they will keep Moeen Ali. I think because
Yeah.
Moeen Ali, Adil Rashid, I think they'll bank on these two.
These two, and
But
Pacers, they would be Sam Curran, Chris Wokes, Mark Wood, and
that's it.
those are the
Yeah,
three
that's it.
Pacers.
Rashid.
So you have Sam Curran, you have Mark Wood, and you have who else?
Chris Wokes.
Chris Wokes,
Chris. All three can bat,
all three can bat. Yeah,
They can
and they
bowl
can bat at a
a
very good
pace.
rate.
yeah.
You know, even Mark Wood can hit sixes. We have all seen that recently,
Mhm.
right? Chris Wokes. We have seen how he dominated India in that 2017 series. Was it?
Yeah,
When we were taking wickets up front, and then then Sam Curran and Chris Wokes down the order, they were
Chris
coming in and
Wokes,
scoring
yeah.
yeah. So they can bat. Adil Rashid and Moeen Ali, obviously we know because they'll play Moeen Ali for the fact that he's pretty much used to Indian conditions now because he's been playing.
Mhm.
He's been a regular feature in the Super Kings lineup.
Yeah,
So I
also
think
against
they'll go
Virat
ahead.
Kohli has a very good record, and Indian pitches he's having a very good record. He's
Even Adil
picking an
Rashid, I think, has even
Adil Rashid
has a
also has
very
a
good.
yeah,
better record.
Adil
Yeah.
Rashid is going to be a regular feature.
Yeah.
But the
But Lucknow
only weak
with
link you could
against
see
India,
is
they can play
uh,
again. They can play Livingston
yeah,
instead of Markwood.
Livingston. Yeah, instead of like the only problem which you could see is Harry Brook. Of course, he's not in the form right now, but he's a very good player. So in that situation, if Harry Brook experiment doesn't work as an opener, they could go with David Malan and Johnny Bairstow in opening, and in middle
And
order
get
you could
him.
bring in Livingston. So yeah,
They
so
don't
that
feel.
could be one thing they could do.
Yeah, they don't change Harry Brook. If Harry Brook is getting some 20 or 30, then they are very happy with them.
Yeah,
I think
That's
all
what
they're
they
looking
need.
for is like those okay, with all these four teams, there's one thing that you see in common these days. You have roles defined for each player, right? So if somebody comes in and gives that quick 30-35, they are happy with that. If you
Yes.
have been given a role to anchor the innings, and if you're taking, like, let's say 65-70 balls and making some 55 odd runs, all right, or a 50, they are content with that. So likewise, the players who are coming in at number 6 and 7, you expect them to basically, like, score those big runs
Pretty quick
in
runs.
terms of boundaries. Yeah, in terms of boundaries, basically. So you
right.
have, like, roles defined, and it's like prim and precise, because especially if you saw the game against New Zealand, the approach that they have towards that chase, though it was a warm-up game, they were very precise and calculated with that. Okay, the way they were going about with their business. Okay, there was a boundary being hit here and there, singles run hard. All right, okay, my role, I mean, Williamson was anchoring, and then he does his part, and then he gets into the dugout, and then the next man comes in, he does his bit. So basically, even if you have, like, had a look at the series that they have played, New Zealand, England, Australia, and South Africa, so that is the sort of approach they have. So that's the reason I think even the scores like 340, 350, they won't be safe against these SENA teams. If let's say if India makes 340, 345, I don't think there's going to be a winning total if it's a flat track, because these
That's
teams,
true.
all
Yeah,
the four teams, they are going to come hard at you. And if it's a flat track, then you will have to target those 370 or 375 maybe. Okay,
or
and
You
then
need
bank
maybe
on your
400. Yeah,
regular wickets at regular
yeah,
intervals.
yeah. So I mean,
and
it's a huge, yeah.
yeah, with teams like England, like of course the SENA teams, you have to, like, if they say that the average target in this condition is, let's say 350, you have to score those 20-30 runs just for this,
Yes,
just for the heck of it for these guys. Otherwise,
yes,
it won't be safe.
right. So what's the final now? I think we have got New Zealand, South Africa, Australia, and England covered. So who do you think has more chances? I mean, do you see two teams out of these four getting into the final four, or just
England
one?
and Australia.
I think
Two.
it would be three teams going from here. Like I feel New Zealand won't make that cut.
Uh-huh. So you think
I
England,
feel
Australia, and
England, Australia, and South Africa,
three teams?
three teams. Yeah.
Wow. So, and the whole of the World Cup
So
should be
which is
played
that
amongst
one
the
team
other
out of
teams.
6? Is it India?
Yeah, I mean, from the looks of it, from the paper, yeah.
Right.
He is very optimistic than me. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Right. I think we have covered everything. The video is getting really long. It's 50 minutes now. So let's call it a day here, and then we'll
Yeah.
meet up again for the Asian side of it. We'll go with Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan when we meet up sometime tomorrow. So till then, do like, share, subscribe to this video, and do leave your comments. It's going to be very helpful in answering some of the questions that you guys may have. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.
Yeah.